dollars in prizes, and best of all, it's free to enter. Every score change, someone wins $50,000. Just enter for free at RocketMortgageSquares.com, and it could be you. Touchdowns, field goals, safeties, extra points. Every single score change will draw one lucky winner from the square to win $50,000. Plus, 2 grand prize winners will win $500,000 they could use toward their dream home. One way to enter, 2 ways to win. See rules and enter for free at RocketMortgageSquares.com. Then tune into the Super Bowl on February 7th to see if you bring home some dough. Rocket Mortgage, official mortgage sponsor of Super Bowl 55.
No purchase necessary. Legal residents of the 50 U.S. and D.C. of age of majority. Ends 2/4/2021, 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. The NFL entities as defined in the official rules have not offered or sponsored this promotion in any way.
Britain hit hard by the coronavirus, now considering tougher border controls.
Restrictions were beefed up last week, but if necessary, a total closing of borders remains an option if required. Environment Secretary George Eustice.
We require a test before people travel, and then they must quarantine while they're here. There are now no exemptions from that policy, so we've already toughened it up. We think that's the right approach for now, but obviously everything's always kept under review.
The big concern, keeping new, potentially more deadly COVID variants out of the UK. Tom Rivers, ABC News, London.
The master tenant of Oakland, California warehouse is pleading guilty to criminal negligence in connection with that 2016 fire that killed dozens. The move avoids a second trial after the first ended in a hung jury. The winner of Wednesday's Powerball jackpot worth $731 million still has not come forward. That ticket bought in Lonacone, Maryland. ABC's Will Reeve is there.
The tiny mining town of 300 families is buzzing. Locals say everyone knows and looks out for each other, like Richard plans to with his store's $100,000 windfall from selling the winning ticket.
My employees are going to benefit from it, and I'm going to renovate the store.
How are your employees going to benefit?
I'm going to give them some of the money.
Amid all the hoopla, Coney Market employees are grateful for their boss's generosity.
This is ABC News.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. Drive-bys is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
This Snow Country Ski Report is brought to you by Indeed. Are you hiring? You need Indeed. Indeed immediately delivers quality candidates from our resume database when you upgrade your job post. It's that simple. Receive a $75 sponsored job credit on your first post at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and restrictions apply.
Buy your lift tickets online in advance because they sell out quickly. And that's what happened at Bear Mountain and Snow Summit. Both sold out for the weekend. They picked up 5 inches of fresh snow during the week, and both spots skiing and riding on around a couple dozen trails. Night sessions still available for Saturday at Bear Mountain and Snow Summit, and there's still skiing available for the weekend at Mountain High. They're on 15 trails. They're back to making snow again, and Snow Valley skiing and riding on 9-pack powder slopes. Chilly temperatures means firm, groomed snow, but we'll get some extra shots of powder during the weekend in modest amounts. Mammoth Mountain, 101 trails. They groomed 60 of them. Fresh snow for Mammoth this weekend, especially Sunday. I'm Chuck Devine on KMET 1490 AM.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to Julie Talks Money. I'm here every Friday at 10 o'clock on KMET to tell you about how you can make more money, grow it, keep it, and protect it. Those are the 4 things that I try to do in every show and have some theme around those things because that is what I really think that everybody has to do with money. Everything comes down to those 4 things, right? Making more, growing it, keeping it, and protecting it. I bring different guests to the show who talk to you and to me about different ways that you can either make, grow, keep, or protect your money. And these are experts that I have gathered over the course of many, many years and in my networking. And I have checked them out, vetted them, done business with some of them. And I know that these are people that actually can help you to expand your portfolio and, more importantly, your financial education. That is the thing that I am the most passionate about. And my guest today is also super passionate about financial education and financial literacy. You've heard it said, and I've said it before also, we just don't teach enough financial literacy in this country, and certainly not to our children, and schools certainly don't teach it. So my goal and my passion is to bring you information that will increase your financial literacy. And I also offer services as a coach, as a financial life coach, to help you one-on-one increase your financial literacy and your financial portfolios. If you'd be interested in doing that, you can check out my website or my YouTube videos, julietalksmoney.com, or on YouTube at Julie Talks Money. And you can also call me anytime at 626-460-1188. That's 626-460-1188. 626-460-1188. I answer my own phone. I will answer your questions. And I also will work with you if you want to increase your portfolio, increase your knowledge, increase your financial literacy, and ideally help to make you richer than you are now, and to make you also find a way to realize the goals that you have set for yourself financially and for your life and for your family. And that goes with the flows in your life, especially cash flow. We've all seen, haven't we, that in this time of coronavirus and COVID, it's more important than ever before. I mean, it has brought it really home and brought it clearly to us how important it is to have income coming in when you don't have a job or you cannot work, or some disaster has happened to the country or to your employer, whoever it might be, so that you need to have some way to include emergency savings as part of your financial asset package, as well as a way to bring in income, have passive income, that's called passive income, coming in when you cannot work for it. So that's one of the things I'll be talking about again today, is passive income and how can you get that. Now, passive income is part of growing your income, making more money and growing your income, growing your asset portfolio too. If you know what that means the different things that you have in different asset classes that make up the money that you have and your financial portfolio is the word for it. Just like an artist has a portfolio with lots of different pieces in it, a person always is working to increase their financial portfolio. That includes checking accounts, savings accounts, stock market accounts, if you have any, even if you have money in an app that you're using like Stash or Robinhood, which are excellent tools to help you grow, or M1 Finance, that's another one that's good. If you own houses of your own that you live in, if you own a rental property, if you own any kind of a 2 to 4 unit rental property, maybe you own a share in some kind of a syndication. Do you have an IRA? Do you have a 401k from your employer? All of those things are part of what we call your financial portfolio, and you have things in different asset classes. Asset classes being stocks, real estate, bonds, commodities, rental properties, commercial property, and so much more. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you need to get some education. And obviously you can get a whole lot of that from looking different things up on YouTube or on Google, but one-on-one coaching is definitely the way to move forward, especially if you have an issue with your mindset. And I'm going to tell you, I have had problems with mindset in the past from family messages that if you make money, then you're going to have to give it away. Part of that being a religion thing. If you have made money, then something bad might happen to you. If you make money, people may not like you, or you might have to leave your friends behind. All of these different things are fears that are absolutely, truly genuine fears that people have, but a lot of it's on a subconscious level, and we don't really know that we have those fears. So that's where it comes into your mindset. You have to get your mindset properly into the proper frame, and you can use lots of different tools for doing that, including meditation, if that is your thing, including education, to actually help you break through those barriers that you have to learning about money, or that you have that sabotage your getting more money, and get you right onto the path of getting greater financial security. And that's what I try to do. Again, if you'd like to help some coaching, call me at 626-460-1188, 626-460-1188. And you know what? Not only that, but I will do a financial analysis of your situation for $95, and I guarantee you, yes, guarantee that I will find $950 that you don't know you have that is either in cash or equities or something more, basically 10 times, multiplying 10 times that $95. I will find that for you, or a way for you to get that. And if I can't do that, then I'll refund the $95 to you, no questions asked. No harm, no foul. That's different from a financial planner or a financial advisor who would like you to sign a retainer agreement with them, or would like you to retain them or hire them for 1 month, 2 months, 12 months. I have nothing to sell you. I have nothing to gain. I'm not going to try and sell you any products. I just want to help you. So again, $95 is all you would pay, and I guarantee you that you'll get the $950 that we'll find in what it is that you have, or grow your money or your money back. So one of the things I'd like to talk about today, too, is that in addition to the YouTube channel that I have, Julie Talks Money, I also have a little playlist called Tidbits, and those are different pieces of information that are short bites, maybe 5 to 8 minutes long, about certain products, certain things that you should be looking at, whether it's a 529 educational loan, whether it's what is equity, what do you do with a mortgage, some of the simple basic financial elements, and also budgeting, because that is one of the key things that everybody needs to have in their first steps towards knowing what your financial situation is. If you don't know what you're bringing in, and you don't know what you are spending and having that budget, then you can't possibly move forward on how you can find money to invest, how you can find money to save, what you can cut, where you're wasting money, if there is anything, or how you can increase your income, because all of those things play a part, right? So one of the things that, if you are a business owner, is a welcome piece of news. There is a new second tranche, if we'll call it that, or a second PPP loan that has now been made available by the government. Now, we had the PPP loan initially back in April. It was kind of a mess because there were so many different companies and institutions that had values of $10 million, $20 million, $30 million, $300 million, even with Harvard, that were claiming some money from this PPP loan, which is the protection loan that was for businesses. At any rate, this new set of loans has been made available. Number one, was made available to minority neighborhoods first and community banks, which I really love because I'm a huge believer in more opportunities for minorities and ways that they can get and use money for their business. It is limited to businesses that are under $3 million, and you have to have either used up your first PPP loan, if you got the first PPP loan, you have less than 300 employees, again, limiting it so that it's not some of the major companies that are doing it, and have experienced at least a 25% reduction in your income based on coronavirus and being impacted by COVID-19. So again, you can contact your local bank to find out more information about the PPP2 loan, or you can also look it up online with the government. There's lots of information about the PPP loan and what is happening and how you can apply for it. Also, Los Angeles County has opened up a couple of different grants. Now, these are grants that do not have to be repaid. They're not loans like the PPP loan. So the grants in LA County are up to $25,000 for an independent business, and that could be a retailer, a restaurant, an attorney, a bookkeeper, a CPA, anybody whose income has been impacted by coronavirus can apply for this grant from LA County. So look that up also at lacounty.gov, and you'll find information about the grant. Now, this is only in Los Angeles County. If you're in somewhere else in California, in your county, they may have some kind of a grant because the state has made more money available, which is wonderful because we all need a little more money to get through this whole coronavirus and COVID time. Every little bit helps, right? So check that out. Now, speaking of YouTube, you know, there's a lot of people that you can find and you can see on YouTube, especially a group of young men. I call them Millennial Mafia. We're talking about Mr. Beast and Meet Kevin and Graham Stephan. And all of these are young men who are, I think, 30 or under, and they started doing a lot of different things based on real estate, and now they are entertainers on YouTube and making a lot of money. And they're also giving some financial advice and stock advice. Now they suddenly are talking about stocks and as if they've become the experts in stocks and Bitcoin, all kinds of other things. Don't know if they're experts or not. I certainly had licenses for talking about investments and made a lifetime study of them, but they're putting them out. So one of the things that I'm doing now is I'm creating an index, and you'll be able to find it on YouTube, and it's an index of comparison. It's not the Standard & Poor's 500 index, the spiders, and it's not the Dow Jones Industrials Index, but it's basically going to be tracking and tracing a couple of different things we're going to be creating. One is the stock picks made by Graham Stephan. Another one is the stock picks made by Meet Kevin. Another one is the stock picks made by Boo the Monkey, who is also an internet and YouTube sensation. And basically, Boo the Monkey has either sat down on stock symbols, or he's thrown a dart, or he has thrown a package. Now, we'll see and compare his picks to the others in the next few months to come. And I'll tell you right now, Boo the Monkey is up about 35%, which is terrific, just from one stock pick in particular, where he selected Ford Motor Company when it was trading at $9 a share, and now 3 weeks later it's at $12 a share. So if you're interested to see if you can do as well as a monkey, or if the Millennial Mafia men can beat a monkey, check that out. Keep checking on the channel and you'll find some more information about the index that I'm creating, the Julie Talks Money Index, based on the other people who are telling you stock picks. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm just going to be showing you the comparison of all of them. Now, one of the things that we're going to be talking about today is not just how you are growing and making money, but what can you do to actually get to millionaire status. Last week and the week before, I talked about Warren Buffett. Now, the Warren Buffett method is legitimate, just like all the other ones are. It's essentially work hard, make as much money as you possibly can, working a job for an hourly wage or a salary. If you are lucky enough to be a salaried employee, you can work 40, 60, 80 hours a week, make as much money as you can, not necessarily have a life, live in a small apartment or live with your parents if you're still of a younger age, use public transportation, not have a car, not have those expenses, and you can just suck away as much money as you possibly can, and maybe you would even have a side hustle. Maybe you'd have a side gig from what we used to call a second part-time job, but now it's called a side hustle. I love it. And that could be driving for Uber Eats or Grubhub or Amazon delivery or one of those kinds of things, or even making some crafts and selling them on Etsy. There's lots of different ways that you can make additional money. But the question is that any kind of way to live? Yeah, you can do that for 20, 30, 40 years, eventually make $1 million and have it saved. But there are lots of easier ways to do that that are not nearly as stressful. So that's one of the things I'm going to be talking about today. How can you make $1 million or become a millionaire in 20 years or less just from your savings and from your paycheck? Believe it or not, it is still possible. There are ways that you can do that, and I'm going to be talking with my guest, Peggy Beauregard, about just that, because she actually helps people to do that. Now, full disclosure, transparency, I've known Peggy for a long time. I admire her, and I know a lot of the people that she works with, and I have worked with some of the stuff on their teams with the different deals that they come up with. But she's going to talk a little bit more about how you can get there and what steps you have to take, and, of course, the education, too. Peggy raises private capital for passive real estate partnerships and commercial properties. She's been an investor for 30 years and has been an expert in 1031 exchanges to avoid paying capital gains taxes. She is a real estate broker, and she has been for a long time, has had the license, although she does not work as a real estate broker selling real estate like you and I might think about it, like houses. Now, I can do that if you want to call me for listing your house or buying another one. But not Peggy, but just keep that in mind. She learned from her father, who was a real estate developer, but learned a long time ago that buying and selling single-family houses is not necessarily the way to wealth, especially doing it one at a time, and then you always have to deal with tenants, trash, and toilets and all those other things. She's invested in multifamily and in self-storage and industrial, which she's very high on. Office spaces, manufacturing, retail, and construction. So Peggy really knows so much more about so many elements of real estate. She's one of the experts that I refer to and defer to when it comes to some things that I don't know about. And I'm very happy to welcome her to the show this morning. Hi, Peggy. Good morning.
Hello, Julie. Thank you very much for inviting me on your show. I love listening to it, and I love all the ideas you bring up. It's really terrific. Thank you so much. It's an honor.
Oh, I appreciate those kind words. You know, I think we have a mutual admiration society because I love the stuff that you do and that you say, and you have a number of videos now also that are educational in nature on your website, which is PeggyBeauregard.com.
Yes.
And then spell that, and Peggy, and then how do you spell Beauregard?
Beauregard is Beauregard. It's like Beau and then regard.
It's interesting.
Beau,
you know,
like
somebody that I was talking to
like
a little earlier before the
oh.
show began said that was the name of a character in the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yes,
So-
and Bus Stop and a few others. Yep. And
That's it. So that could be a reference. If you don't know, just check that out.
That's right. You could watch a great movie with Marilyn Monroe. Bus Stop. Uh-huh. Yeah,
I didn't know that. Little trivia pieces. I love it.
You know,
So
when you have
we
an
talked about-
unusual
I'm
name
sorry.
like I do, when you have an unusual name like I do, you kind of follow where the name shows up. But
I am a huge fan of the movie and the show Mame, both with Rosalind Russell and Lucille Ball version, and of course the main character that she met was Beauregard Jackson Pickett Burnside. So I always think of Beauregard in that respect.
That's right. That's
actually,
right.
one of the philosophies in Mame is one that I live by, and it's basically life is a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving to death. So we need to reach for all the different things that we possibly can, and that includes growing your money and going after a wonderful lifestyle, don't you think?
Absolutely. And I know it can be a struggle for some people, and a lot of it's just people not knowing how to do it. And the how to do something is always the most important. And are we taught that? You know, sometimes we are. We get a coach and we learn how to be a ballerina or how to be a dancer or how to build a house, but we got the right people in place to do that. When it comes to money, there's so little. One of the things I love about your show, Julie, is Julie talks money, and most people don't talk about money, yet it's something that people use every single day. So talk about money. Let's talk about money.
We do take it for granted, don't we? We don't even think about what we're doing when we're spending money and how it comes to it. And I know that you are as passionate about financial education and literacy as I am.
Oh, totally. So, you know, really the first thing, let's talk about how to become a millionaire. One of the first things that you need to do to become a millionaire is you need to have a plan. Most people don't have a plan. Mm-hmm. I could tell you I didn't have a plan because I didn't know. I didn't know how to put a plan together or what I needed to do to get there. So the first thing is to have a plan. What do you think
and
about?
by the plan, do you mean a goal, or do you mean actual steps to get there, or a budget?
Well, actual steps to get there. So first you have to have a plan. Let's say I want to be a millionaire. That means I need to have $1 million principal. That's my goal, right? To have $1 million. My actual goal is to have cash flow based on whatever dollar it is so that I can live the way I want to live, give back, take my cruises, like all of that. That's really what I want. And how that will happen is by what that number is, that big number, so that I can have my money working for me to bring that in and preserve my principal. That's my plan now, that I have a plan. Before it was like save my money and then I could go spend it. Nobody told me save my money so I could invest it. So the first thing is have a plan. The second thing is to get educated. I know I listed a lot of books, and all those books are on the website, so they could go to the website and peruse that area to see all these books. But really, the books are important because they talk about money and having plans and growing and getting where you want to go. one of my favorite books is called Family Wealth, and it's about a family where dad makes a lot of money, gives it to the next generation, that generation spends it, and then it's gone, and the next generation has to work again. It's called Shirt Sleeves to Shirt Sleeves in 3 generations.
That happens a lot with people who inherit money, too. You know, their parents or their grandparents have worked very hard. They actually made a tidy sum of money, saved it, especially grandparents who may have grown up post-Depression or in the 40s or 50s, not like today. And then they pass away. They might leave it to their son or daughter or the grandson or daughter. And a lot of those people end up spending the money and going into the shirt sleeves also. So they reverse what may have been the pattern in their family. Because they don't know what to do.
Exactly. Yeah. Again, no plan. We need to educate each generation. I don't think that we do that very well because we don't talk about money. Anyway.
Not nearly enough. And yes, a plan is like, okay, you can say, I want to have passive income and I want to have cash flow, or my goal is to have enough money by age 55 so that I could retire from any job and do what you said, the cruises or the travel or the education, whatever it might be, even golfing, if that's your thing. But the plan is the steps to get there. And as you and I talked about before, the steps with the budget, you have to know what you have coming in, and then you have to know what's going out. And the steps are how you're going to get there, which means, first of all, the savings, right, knowing what you've got, and then looking at and educating yourself about different vehicles that are going to make you some more money. So there's obviously the stock market, right?
Right, but not. I'm going to go over what you already went over just real quickly. So the first step is you have to have a plan, and you just mentioned it again, but the budget. The second step is the budget. You've got to have a budget so that you know how to stick to your plan. It's one thing to have a plan. It's another thing to know how much you make. But if you do not budget that and you do not set that money aside every single paycheck, you're just shooting yourself in the foot again. So that
I'm a big fan of the plans of either using the envelopes or jars so that you have a plan. You put certain money in it for utilities, another envelope for groceries, another envelope for entertainment or school education for your kids, and another envelope definitely for what you're putting into a savings account or some kind of a savings vehicle.
Yes, we have our 6-year-old nephew doing that, putting his money away for investment. He has several jars, and one of them is for investing. And that's all that money's for. He doesn't know what he's going to do with it, doesn't know how, but he's 6. But so what? We're here to guide him. But the whole idea is he understands he has to put money away for investing.
That is fantastic education for somebody who's young. I love it. And, of course, Warren Buffett made his first stock purchase, I believe, at 11. And there are so many teenagers now that are inventing or creating companies. I'm going to be featuring some of those in the future. If you just look at the entrepreneurs and the teenagers, they are getting the message, and they're learning not from school, but from doing. But you first have to start with having some money. Their parents help.
Yep, that is correct. You bet.
Now, if you are working at a job, what is the best way, in your opinion, to save money?
Well, there's 2 ways to save money. One is if you have employer matching. I know that a lot of companies they'll pay 3%, 5%, some of them pay up to 7%, maybe more, and they have bonuses that you match that money because that's free money. It is before tax money, but it's still free money. So if your employer matches $100 a paycheck, be sure you put that $100 in because you just made $100 free. So that's one way.
That's a 401k, right?
Yeah, a 401k. That's a 401k. If you don't have that, then you could open like a whole life insurance policy. Because your whole life insurance policy, even though you're paying, I'll just make up a number, $100 a month into that is earning money. So it's earning 3%, 4%, or 5% a month, and that actually compounds. And compounding means that the interest then becomes principal and is now earning interest. And then you could take the money, because it's a whole life insurance, you could take that money out when you grow it to something large enough, to invest it in real estate, let's say. And you could do that in the stock market. You could invest in a REIT, which is real estate investment trust, and they're all in real estate, and you could be earning that money until you get enough together where you could actually put a nice chunk into something that's paying the double-digit returns.
Now, isn't life insurance expensive if you're over 25?
It has something to do with your age and how much money you make. I am not the expert on that. You and I both know people that are the experts on that. I would refer over for that conversation. I know for me to get it, it's quite expensive a month. I didn't know about whole life insurance. I only knew about term, and I wasn't ever going to put my money in something that I knew I was going to live longer than 20 years. So I wasn't going to waste my money. So I never had that. But I just learned not too long ago about whole life, where that means your whole life. Your whole life, you put money in, and then whatever you decide that you want it to be, like $500,000, once it hits that cash value, you don't have to add money anymore, and you could keep borrowing money from it and investing it, and then keep putting.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because most people think insurance is not going to benefit me; it's only going to benefit those that are around after I'm dead. But this is certainly a way that you can use a life insurance policy to grow your own personal wealth and then borrow from it.
Yeah, you're your own bank. You're putting money in your bank every month, and then when you have enough, you find something that you want to invest in. You pull that money out, and you invest it in something. And when you get paid back, you put it back. And the whole time, because you're actually borrowing from the company and not from your account, it's actually earning its 5%. So it's still growing. Yeah, you still have to pay back the company, and they'll charge you, but your account is growing. The point is your account is growing. So that's another way. And it's tax-free. Forgot that part.
We love that.
It's tax-free. Whereas if you have, so is your Roth, because it's after-tax dollars.
That's an IRA. It's an investment retirement account. And a Roth, you have to have a self-directed account, if I'm not mistaken.
To invest in real estate, yes, you do. To invest in anything that's not a stock, I believe, you need a Roth. So if you want to be a lender, you need to have a self-directed account. If you want to lend I don't know. I think lending on anything, you have to have a self-directed, whether it's lending to somebody who's running a business or lending to somebody who's building a house or flipping a house.
I think that's correct.
Yeah.
And you can, and the beauty of it is you can have a 401k from your company, and you can have your own Roth IRA as well. And that way, in my personal experience and opinion, it's kind of good, because then that's more money that you're putting away, but you can't really just sit there and spend, and you're not tempted to spend it.
That's right, because you have to be a certain age before you can take it out, or you're penalized. So we don't like penalties. We're all about growth. So put your money where you can't touch it, and make it grow. So one of the things and I forgot about this, is there's a company called SCORE, SCORE.org, and if anybody's looking for a mentor to help them have these money conversations, you just go on SCORE, you look through, you sign up, it's free. These are usually retired people that are highly successful, and they just want to give back, and they volunteer their time.
And so that's a free resource that everybody should take advantage of.
Yep.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, you can have that money conversation privately, and you don't have to worry about, whether you're going to pay anybody. They'll tell you where to go to get the right help.
And that would be a wonderful resource to add to what you get from coaching.
Yeah, well, we all need at least one coach. I have 3 coaches, a mentor, and I'm in 3 masterminds. So that's
like Napoleon Hill recommends.
Well, how you get successful. You need somebody to keep booting you, so to speak, forward. Mm-hmm. Right? We have our days when we're down. We have things that don't go the way we want. Sometimes, you thought something happens, the car breaks down, and you've got to get that fixed, for instance. That happens. That's why it's so important to have an investing account and a savings account so that you're not ever touching your investment money. And then having that money invested in like double-digit returns and have it grow, you still need to save your money, and you still need to keep putting that saved money into the next deal. For me, so
now, that's a perfect intro that you just brought that up. How do you get double-digit returns safely? I know people can get double digits in the stock market, but that's risky. Bitcoin, to me, is something that is very risky because we don't know enough about it. So how does somebody become a millionaire in 20 years or less, and how do they get the double-digit returns that might be necessary in order to do that?
Well, you've got to... So let's talk about becoming the millionaire. The millionaire person, the way to become that in that shorter period of time is to be in something called growth. And growth is where you get higher returns. And yes, there's more risk. One of the places you get a good high return is in construction. Is construction risky? Yes, construction is risky. That's why you do it while you're young and while you're working, because you might have to make up that difference. But you be able to get easily double-digit returns on construction. So these people that are, I mean, I'm in L.A., so I see a lot of construction in L.A. We could put our money in and be the people that help them buy the land, and then they go get a construction loan and build the building, let's say an apartment building. Then they fill up the apartment building, and then they sell the apartment building already with all the people in it. That's how you make your money. If you want to stay with the building, you're not going to make that much money. You're only going to get your 4 or 6% here in LA. But if they sell the building filled up, you're going to get double-digit returns. And then what you want to do is keep flipping that money into those double-digit returns and keep flipping it into the double-digit returns. You want to keep throwing it in growth. That's why it's called growth. And you can put them in other things that have growth or have high cash flow or have short-term loans with high interest rates. There are all of those things. If you could find a deal that has a double-digit return, a good-sized double-digit return, and you're lending them your money for, let's say, 10 or 12 months, and you get all that money back plus interest, and then you get a cash flow after that, that's rare. We rarely see that, but we love those kind of deals because you're getting cash flow the rest of your life, and you've got your money back to go put into another deal. That's a double-digit return. That's how you grow. And they're lifetime returns, so you have to think multi-generational. So you better be teaching your kids, too.
So then you can actually keep on getting the principal back and reusing it, deploying it, and letting the savings or the money that you've earned from using that principal grow in a tax-free Roth or some other vehicle, and then rinse and repeat, it sounds like.
Absolutely. And you do want to do it in something like a Roth, because if you earn that income outside of a Roth, then you have to pay taxes on the gain. So let's just say, I'm going to make it up, let's just say you could get a 15 or 20% return. You put $100,000 in something, and then in a year you get your $120,000 back. Now you've got $120 to invest. If you could put that into another deal that's going to give you $120, now my math doesn't work because I don't have my calculator with me. But if you get the picture, right? That's how you make it grow. You keep moving it. And let's say you got your 120 back, and you found another deal to put your 120 in, but now you get, let's just say, a small 5% return on that, and it's on a property that has a long-term lease, like it could be a farm or it could be a cruise ship port or something like that, and they have these long leases, and the leases are renewable. Well, cruise ships are never going to go out of business. They might have to stop for a year or two due to crazy stuff, but they'll be back in business. You get 5% coming in 25 years later, the lease is up, it renews for another 25 years, another 50 years, you're gone, but your next 2 generations or 3 generations are here, so that money's constantly coming in. You have to think about how you want your children and grandchildren to handle that money. They need to be smart about it and make it grow.
Now, that sounds like a very highly specialized kind of thing. And,
Yep.
you know, if you see somebody who's building a building, you're not going to walk up to them and ask if you can loan them money. So how does, I know how you would find them, and I know you're one of the people who are expert at that. Do people come to you, or do you seek out those kinds of deals and then offer them to people to participate in? How does that work with your business?
Usually they come to me. I can't remember me ever going after anybody, but they usually come to me and ask me if I'll raise capital for them, and then we vet the deal out to make sure it's a good deal, check out the background of the people that have asked us, and we like to get references on them. And we look to see if our team would put our money into it, then we will ask other people if they'd like to put their money in it. If we see something we don't think we would put our money in, we don't really like anybody else putting their money in, because for whatever reason, we might not, we just don't like the deal well enough, so we don't really like to put it out there. And we get very unusual deals, which I kind of was talking about. We just get unusual deals. They're still real estate, but they're unusual deals, and they have really good returns. And that's how you get to do whatever you want. I wish I could.
I don't think a lot of people realize that there's a lot of private capital, a lot of private money and funds. It's not necessarily from the real estate investment trust that you buy into in the stock market or from a broker, or that people who are doing construction are getting money always from the banks. That was one of the things that was surprising to me when I learned about it several years ago. So, you know, for somebody to find that out or to know about that being available to them rather than buying a single family home as a rental property, I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, yes, it is.
And when you say you analyze it, you analyze it for what? The cash flow, the amount that has to be put in, how many people are in the deal, what kind of things?
And is there growth also? Because cash flow is really nice to have, but there has to be growth. Otherwise, how do you make that double-digit return? Because a lot of times cash flow is not double-digit returns, it's single-digit returns. But so you've got to have some growth in there so you can get your double-digit. And how long do you have to hold it to get that? That's really important. That's why we like the short turnovers for growth. We like the long term. We like long holds for cash flow. But once you get to your first million, then you can be in cash flow. But up until that time, you really need to be in growth, unless you've got a cash flow that's doubling you every 5 or 6 years. We have those kind of deals also. So, yeah,
that's wonderful. And you know, you said that you can find millionaires. Locally, no matter where it is that you live. I know there's that book, The Millionaire Next Door. Have you utilized that to find millionaires and ask them questions?
I know a lot of family offices. I've joined a club, you would call it, and there's a lot of family offices there. So I've met a lot of those people. And I've met a lot of people that are also looking for money. So it's a really nice mix of people. But I did want to tell you about a family office I met. And when I'm reading the documents on it, it says that they've been in business for 75 years. I'm like, well, they're working third generation. And I said, why are you out looking for more deals when you've been in business? You've got all this real estate. And of course he laughed. He said, well, because our family is growing. We were 10 people, and now we're 120. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So they're acquiring more, but they're bringing in partners so that everybody wins. So the family will benefit from it, but then so will other partners.
And that's terrific, and finding it and then having those sources. And the last question is, does it cost, if I have $50,000 or $100,000 that I want to invest into one of the deals that you have. Does it cost me money? Do I have to pay you for that? Who pays you? How do you make money?
No, you do not pay us for that. There are people that do charge, but we are not one of them. We believe all your money needs to be working because you work so hard for it. And the sponsors pay us. They have that built right into the budget. You'll see it in their closing costs. They usually pay, you know, they have a lot of closing costs because they have to do all their due diligence, and that's expensive. And then they have to set some money aside to pay people to bring in other partners. So they have that built right in. So no, your money, if you put $100,000 in, you're getting paid on your $100,000. I did put a spreadsheet together. Yep. I put a spreadsheet together on how you could make $1 million. It shows a 20-year spreadsheet. If you would put $20,000 a year into your savings and then invest that, and every 3 years you could flip it at. I did it at 15%, and at 15%, if you put $20,000 a year away, in 20 years you'll have $1.3 million. And 3 years after that, you'll have $1.8 million. It's getting to the first million. You have got to work at it. You have to constantly be looking for places to put your money, and you have to make sure you're working with good people. Nothing like.
And you can be more aggressive if you want and save more if you really want to, and get to that goal faster also.
Exactly.
Because it compounds. So there you have it, folks. There's another way that you can make money and actually have your money grow and grow safely, as opposed to being at the mercy of the stock market or the commodities market or anything else. These are safe and secure returns, and Peggy and her team actually thoroughly do the due diligence, check out the deals and analyze them for them, and you can get into them and it doesn't cost you any money. Now, to me, that is the win-win kind of thing that I like to look for myself and also for all my listeners out there in the audience.
Thank you.
I know you have. I'm sorry, what was that?
I said thank you. What a nice compliment.
No, it's absolutely true. And again, her website is peggybeauregard.com. And you can also contact me anytime, and I'll put you in touch with Peggy at 626-460-1188. That's 626-460-1188. And Peggy is just one of the experts that I have that I can connect you with. Thank you so much, Peggy, for coming back, and I look forward to having you back on the show again in a few months. I know you'll have some other interesting projects.
So much fun. Thank you so much. Bye.
It's been a pleasure. All right, we're going to take a quick little break here just for a sponsor, and I'll be right back. Stay tuned.
We're suddenly in the midst of some very tough times. People hurting for cash don't have many options. My man Saul, the great American, may have a very tangible answer for you if you need cash now. If you are a parent or 70 or older, Saul can get you cash for that too expensive, unwanted life insurance policy, and he can do it fast. Not only will he be able to cash out now, but you or your parent won't have to fork over those crippling high premium payments anymore. You've heard the television spots about knowing you could sell your life insurance policy. Well, why just sell it to one source when you could have multiple chances to cash out and get the most money? Saul will do the whole process remotely, so you don't have to leave the safety of your home or meet with the great American. Contact Saul at Appel Life Settlements, 617-610-1898, or visit his website, appellifesettlements.com. The great American has over 45 years' experience. The consultation is free, no obligations. Call 617-610-1898 now.
We all know that money doesn't grow on trees, but you can grow your wealth every Friday at 10 a.m. with Julie Phelan's Julie Talks Money. Julie and her guests have a world of knowledge to help you gain more wealth. Your financial future can be bigger than your past. If you need to build fast cash, long-term wealth, protect what you have, or create a legacy for your family, tune in every Friday at 10 a.m. for Julie Talks Money on KMET 1490 to learn strategies that affect your family and pocketbook. Podcasts are on SoundCloud.
And welcome back. I'm Julie Phelan, and you're listening to Julie Talks Money. We just had a wonderful and fascinating to me conversation with Peggy Beauregard talking about how you can actually get to be a millionaire in 20 years or less, but you have to do some financial education and then aggressive savings. But also you can do it at no cost to you with different investments that she works with and her partners. And I also mentioned at the top of the show, and I want to mention it again, the PPP, which is the Paycheck Protection Program. I didn't say its full name at the beginning, but it's the Paycheck Protection Program. This is not the same one that was done last summer between March and April. This is a second loan. And again, it's still a loan, and it still has the possibility of 100% forgiveness. One of the differences is it's up to $2 million eligible per business, so it's not going to be going to the large corporations. It is much more intended for the independent business person, the sole proprietor, the sole practitioner, not necessarily doctor's offices, but an attorney who's got their shingle out, as they say, a restaurant who's had some trouble, an individual, and actually, even if you had a side hustle that became your main hustle, that you were working on something at home with a home-based business, including some multi-level marketing businesses, believe it or not, you can actually also apply for this loan. It means that you have to, if you've got the first one, have to have used all that up, or it's already been forgiven, and you get the second tranche, and it has to go for your expenses, and that could be for your website, for your overhead, for your internet, for your assistants if you have any of the things that you need to do to make your income grow or make your business grow. You are eligible to apply for it. You can apply online directly. Most banks are doing it, but I just encourage you to do it quickly because, like everything the first time around, it's kind of a first come, first serve. It's like the money is going to run out at some point. So definitely, all my peeps out there who are real estate agents, that's a huge thing. You can actually borrow money also because your real estate business has no doubt been impacted by COVID-19. I know that mine has as an agent. So definitely look into that. And again, as I said, if you have some other business that you are independent, you're an entrepreneur, you're a solo practitioner, by all means, make sure that you apply for that loan. And just to sum up also what I said at the beginning, check out my YouTube channel, Julie Talks Money, and we'll be talking about an index of stocks that are being picked by Graham Stephan, Meet Kevin, and Boo the Monkey, and a couple of other things. We'll just have to check it out to see what it is. For the most part, I really want everybody to be safe and to be healthy, but given that we are working from home, in California especially, because of the lockdowns and because of the lack of safety in going into different offices, there's been a couple of different occurrences. One has been, obviously, the shift in where you are working. If you don't have to commute to an office and you can actually work from home, then you're not limited to working within 10, 20, or 30 miles of that office, are you? So a lot of people have been moving out of state. And at this point, based on charts and demographics, the net migration of California is out. Growth in California is primarily coming just from an increase in the birth rate and not from people moving into California. Sure, there are always going to be people moving to California to chase show business or because they think that there's greater opportunities here. Maybe they love skiing and they want to be a ski bum. Maybe they want to go for real estate because we all know that California real estate grows and appreciates faster than just about anywhere else. Right now, the median home price in Los Angeles or Southern California is $787,000. I mean, to me, that's crazy. That's for a 100-year-old 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,000 square foot property. You can pay that much. If a condo is what you're after, a condo is going to set you back at least $400,000 as well. For a 1-bedroom condo, a 2-bedroom is going to be even more. And if you want a nicer house or something that was built 50 years ago or 40 years ago, you can plan on paying $1.5, $1.7 million. And again, that's only going to be a 3-bedroom house, maybe 2 bathrooms, maybe you get 1,400 square feet, depending on the location, because it's always location dependent in the neighborhoods. Does that make any sense to you? If you have money, which would be on a down payment for a house, would be $200,000 on $1 million property, and you can actually rent somewhere and put that $200,000 into something that's going to get you a 15% or 12% or even 18 or 20% return, wouldn't that be something that you should consider as a smarter move? Even if you can take $200,000 out of your existing home in the equity that you have and put that into something else, borrowing it at 3% only, and then putting it into some other kind of investment, and you might even get some tax benefit from it, that will also get you 15, 12, 18%, 20%. I think that would be something that you should absolutely consider also as a smart financial move. Because really, when you come right down to it and you're talking about money, it comes down to the numbers, doesn't it? And if you want to make more money, okay, the numbers that you have to use to get there are almost always going to have to do with working more hours, working another job. That's just the way it is. So how are you going to make more money? You either do that or you do it passively through some of these investments. If you want to grow your money, again, you're going to have to invest it in something that is going to grow it. And that can be a savings account or that can be CDs, but CDs that are only paying 0.5% interest are not going to get you there, because that means you're only going to make $70 in income on a $100,000 investment in like 3 years. That's not going to get you where you need to be. You need to know about and find out about different ways to grow your income or to grow money for yourself based on what it is that you have that are different assets, getting different rental property, using the equity in your home, finding a way that you can actually grow your money. That's the only way you're going to do it. And then, of course, keeping it is key. Now, if you keep it and you have it in some kind of a 401k or an IRA, or whether it's a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA or some other vehicle, and of course, if it's locked up into a syndication or a real estate investment trust or a piece of property, you can't touch it, right? Then you just wait, and like Peggy was saying, rinse and repeat. When you get that money back, whatever it is that you have grown, invest that again and use the principal to just go into yet another investment. That is how the wealthy do it. That is what I want you to do, is to become one of the wealthy who are doing that. And I'll keep talking money to you about ways to educate yourself, make more money, grow it, keep it, and protect it. And if you want, again, personalized one-on-one coaching, call me at 626-460-1188. That's 626-460-1188, 626-460-1188, or go to my website, Julie Talks Money. Give me your email address, and I will contact you and start sending you some information. Again, I'm looking forward to your prosperity, and I hope to help you get there and increase your financial literacy. Come listen to me every Friday on KMET, 1490 AM at 10 a.m. I wish you the most prosperous week. I look forward to talking to you next week. Bye-bye.
The proceeding was a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.